Part of the inspiration for uh, doing Inherit the Wind was a parallel situation with a very great playwright, Maxwell Anderson. I'd done my master's thesis comparing two of his plays, Gods of the Lightning, which he wrote with Harold Hickerson, and then Winterset, 10 years later. They were both about Sacco and Vanzetti, but the first one was a pretty dull play because it was more or less of a documentary. 10 years later, he took a poet's license to write a play, not using the same names, called Bartolomeo Romagna instead of Sacco. Burgess Meredith starred in it on Broadway. And we realized when we came across the Scopes trial material that we were not going to be literal. We were going to be poets and playwrights. And therefore we combined three lawyers who had been at the trial, Dudley Field Malone, Arthur Garfield Hayes, and Darrow, into one character. And we couldn't therefore call him Darrow. We called him Henry Drummond. And everything else about the play is fictional. One critic said, "What's so great about this play? They just took the trial transcript." We didn't. There are two or three lines that we couldn't leave out. They were just too fatuous and funny. For example, Brian really did say, "I am more interested in the Rock of Ages than I am in the Age of Rocks." We had to use that. But practically everything else in the play is original. We don't always tell people that. William O. Douglas, the Supreme Court Justice, shook our hands after a performance of a play of Inherit the Wind in Washington and said, "I'm so glad you boys used Darrow's famous speech, 'Progress has never been a bargain. You have to pay for it.'" And he said, "Oh, that was such a prophetic speech in which Darrow talked about pollution, you know. Mister, you may conquer the air, but the birds will lose their wonder and the clouds will smell of gasoline." Well, Darrow never made that speech. We wrote it. But Darrow could have made it, or should have made it, or might have made it, because it was a synthesis of everything he believed. And the same way with the Golden Dancer speech, that we use that now as a indication to our students of how, if you look behind the paint, if you dig out the lies, if you look below the surface, the shiny surface, why, it's the subject matter of an infinite number of plays, because you have to look beneath the surface of the lies and the deceits of what? Of your parents, of your family, of your friends, of your government, of your church, but particularly of yourself. And if you can reveal what you've been kidding yourself about, that is infinite value in writing plays.